All right, so we are gonna start off our recipe by making the cucumber salad because it's really nice if you can let it marinate for at least an hour before serving. So I just make it at the beginning of the meal prep, and then by the end it's good to go. So in here I have 4 Persian cucumbers, and I just sliced them kind of on a little bias. And they're pretty thinly sliced, about 1/4 of an inch. And then I have a very thinly as you can get it, 1/4 of a white onion. So I have that here in the bowl. We're gonna go ahead and add the marinade on top. So I'm gonna do a tablespoon of sesame oil. I'm just eyeballing it because this is really to taste. We're gonna do 3 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. So 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna do a nice squeeze of Sriracha. You could omit this if you're making this for the kids, and then just add it to your own if you like. We're gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. A little bit more. So we're gonna mix this all together, and we're gonna let it marinate. You can leave it on the counter or throw it in the fridge. I like to have it cold when I serve it. And you're gonna have a taste. And keep in mind that these flavors are gonna intensify as it marinates. So if it's a little bit bland, just leave it be to let it sit for a little bit to let those flavors develop. But the vinegar is gonna soften that onion flavor so you won't have as much like that harsh raw onion. But it is so easy. And then all we need to do for this is just some toasted sesame seeds on top for serving. All right, let's make the Asian meatballs. So I have 1 pound of ground pork and 1 pound of ground turkey into this bowl. And head over to my page because I give a little tip about extra ground meat and how you can store that. But I'm gonna mix this all up with all the ingredients, okay? So to start, I'm gonna add a teaspoon of salt to our mixture. And I'm gonna throw in some fresh cracked black pepper. Now, you can use any kind of ground meat in this recipe. If you have turkey, chicken, beef, pork, it's all fine. So we're gonna throw that in there. I have 2/3 a cup panko here. Panko breadcrumbs, just a Japanese style breadcrumbs. You can use Italian if that's what you have on hand. And then I have the whites of some scallions. And I do give a little tip about how to get this fine mince over on my page. Okay. So next up, we are gonna throw in some garlic paste. All right, I threw my glove on because things are about to get messy. So we're just gonna crack in an egg. And then I have hoisin sauce here. If you don't have hoisin sauce, you can message me and we can talk about some alternatives that you can use using soy sauce and brown sugar, that kind of thing. But it's a lovely, sticky, rich sauce. And then I like to do this with a glove, but you don't have to, you can just wash your hands nicely. We're gonna give this a nice mix, and we're just gonna mix it until combined. You don't wanna overdo it and make the meat tough, okay? One other tip I had when you're making a meatball recipe from scratch, you can always take a little bit of the meat off and just pan fry it and have a taste for seasoning before committing to the whole batch. All right, so I'm gonna form these up into little meatballs, and we're gonna put it on a baking tray with some foil that I'm gonna spray with a little bit of nonstick spray. Meatballs are all rolled out. They're about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches in diameter. I got 34 out of 2 pounds of ground meat. So they're gonna go in at 400 degrees for about 14 to 16 minutes.
So we're gonna get started on our glaze for the meatballs. So in this pan, I have about 1.5 tablespoons of toasted sesame oil. You can use regular sesame oil. And I've just added to that some garlic and ginger. I've just been sauteing this over medium heat to just release some of those aromatics. And then we're gonna go ahead and add in soy sauce, Sriracha, and hoisin sauce. This is 1/2 cup of soy sauce going in. And then we're just gonna reduce this until it's a nice sticky glaze. You can add as much Sriracha as you like. And then I'm gonna need 2 hands to do this hoisin sauce because it is pretty thick. I also forgot to mention I added in 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar just to give it a little bit of acid. And now we're just going to reduce this sauce while those meatballs cook. So you're gonna reduce it till it's a nice glaze consistency, but just be careful not to let this burn. I like to do it over medium-low heat, nice slow and low. Then we're gonna go ahead and add our meatballs into this pan. So our sauce is nicely reduced and the meatballs are out of the oven. I'm just going to transfer them over here into our pan to coat them all nicely. I'll show you, I do always cut into one of the meatballs just to make sure it's all the way cooked through. And that becomes like the little chef snack, I always call it. So you get to have a little taste before dinner. So I'm just going to transfer all of these guys into here. We're going to give them a nice stir to coat them and we'll be ready to serve. All right, guys, moment of truth. It smells amazing in this kitchen. But let's have a taste. Wow. The meat is so tender and juicy, and that sauce is super flavorful. It's like a flavor bomb in your mouth. I'm super excited about this to be served alongside with rice and that refreshing cucumber salad. This is legit. All right, guys, here is the finished dish. Feel free to drizzle a little bit more of that sauce over the rice if you like. It is so comforting and delicious. I'm super proud of this recipe, guys. It is so good. I hope you try it. If you do, please tag me at Hapa Home Cooking so that I can see your creation.